name's Michael Sebastian Romero, better known as Super Saiyan Mike or SSJ Mike. I am a producer engineer. I've been in music as long as I can remember. I started working in production when I was 10 years old, and I am now here amongst all these beautiful and creative people.
What inspired you to start at 10? Like, do you remember the first story?
So I was at church, and one of the homies, his name was Sean. He was like, I like snuck in kind of into where like the live sound area was of like the youth of like the children's church, and when I was going to a different school, they said we needed to volunteer and do volunteer work and stuff. So I was like, yo, could I volunteer back here? Yeah, and then just kept progressing, and ended up going with him into the youth church, becoming the media director for the youth church while I was still in high school, and still working also in the main church. It's a mega church. It's called Cottonwood Church in Los Alamitos. Congregation's about a few thousand. They broadcast in 55 different countries in a few different languages. So learned a lot there. Thank the Lord.
Why did you become an engineer? Like, kind of from that journey of 10 years, are there pivotal moments and milestones and you're like, all right, this is what I want to do? And kind of what was your big break in the engineering scene that solidified that's what you want to do?
I never really thought about it like that. So I guess a pivotal point to where I decided like, okay, I needed like engineering's my niche, or like that's where I feel at home. I guess it didn't really come until like college. I first went to school for mechanical engineering, dropped out, long story, and ended up in Art Institute for audio production. While there, going through the different courses and classes, learning Protools and learning, recording techniques and stuff like that. I already been working in the church, so I knew, a decent hand on recording techniques and stuff like that. And through like friends around, the city, was able to like work with them on Pro Tools and stuff like that. So once I got to the school, it was kind of like confirming theories of like things that I've been trying for over years. And I was like, oh, I actually kind of understand this. And then just kept learning, just kept soaking all the information up like a sponge as I could. And then ended up getting a job at Record Plant. And progressed to the Rex as a runner and assistant, and then eventually landed a few engineering gigs, and I guess my work was decent enough to where people kept wanting to book me.
Was there an artist or a project that you were like, oh, I've made it, like I've leveled up now?
I personally don't think so. I guess people would probably look back in my portfolio or the work I've done and say that I probably have, but it's to me it's great, fun, creative work, and I just feel like I'm taking the gifts that were blessed to me and expressing them properly and sharing them with people who also have like-minded tendencies and visions so that we can both synergize and create beautiful music so that everyone else can listen to and enjoy and be happy.
Is there a certain, when you're working, throughout the history of your career, you've probably had so many different personalities that you've worked with in the studio. Are there certain genres that you feel like you thrive in based off of those people's personalities, or were you kind of like to genres that you'd prefer to work with over others?
That's really difficult to answer. I guess I can just put it this way. I had a joy of working one of the rooms at Record Plant that BMG, a publisher, had booked out for like a month-long like tenant thing lease, and they had all different types of writers, producers come in, and I'm not gonna lie, like I have ADD. We all, most creatives do. So seeing and experiencing and working with people who wrote pop, wrote country, wrote hip hop, wrote EDM, producing EDM, composing. I worked with a lady who was composing a whole musical play, and just seeing the different work styles and work ethics and techniques and methods. It was like that. Like I think I guess I'm able to. I'm happy I was able to like take my skills or my abilities and able to adapt into almost any type of situation kind of on the spot. I never know who was walking into the studio. I remember one day I was got called to engineer a session with a producer, and I asked him like, "Hey, yo, what's going on today?" He's like, "Oh, we got Michael Bolton coming in." I'm like, "What? Michael Bolton? Okay." Like, and he came in like 20 minutes later. How do you prepare for that? You know, that's you could just gotta know what, you know. I guess you gotta have confidence and strength in the skills that were given to you to perform properly.
Do you go into sessions with a constant, like, this is my strategy, this is how I am, and then you adapt as the session goes on, or do you
Definitely
just go in blank mind?
No, definitely. Like, definitely have this. It's like, I guess, like, I'll walk into a session and they'll be like, you know, we're probably looking to record vocals, whatever. So, but especially nowadays, most times it's only a vocal tracking. So I'm just going in with that mindset. But, you know, my mind and my wit is ready for anything, especially as long as I have weed.
What's your biggest pet peeve when working sessions? Do you have any?
People who are in the session that do not belong in the session.
What do you mean by that?
Those who come to the session and I guess not necessarily belong, but like they become a distraction and they don't know they became a distraction, or they get hints that they became a distraction and don't realize it, and taking responsibility on themselves and removing themselves from a creative working environment, because creative working environments are very sensitive. Yeah. True, like we're here having fun, but we're also working. Like, we need to get a job done while having fun. If all you're about is having fun, just don't get in the way. If you get in the way, just please leave, or you will be kindly asked to leave. That's all.
I've obviously watched you in sessions, and to me, the engineer is, like, you're very patient, and you just will do the same things over and over until the artist feels like it's right.
Mm-hmm.
How do you what do you say to yourself to keep composure? Or are there any times you're like, dude, it's good? Like, are you kind of victim to how long the artist wants to continue to do stuff for?
So while working, with different artists, like, there's different work temperatures and, you know, work ethics that each one, or, you know, work operations that each one does. And also there's a level of, you know, comfortability between, you know, engineer and artist, you know. So you kind of got to fill it out, honestly. Sometimes, you know, you depending on, like, if it's a singer and then you know that they can really, really sing, and like if they keep going like, yo, I can get it again, like, you gotta trust them, and because they know what they're doing, you know. But like if there's someone, you know, like getting their feet wet, or like, you know, progressing into their artistry or whatever like that, then, you know, sometimes you also gotta know on your end when, you know, to like, okay, let's get one more. Oh, that last one wasn't good. It was like, oh, no, the one you just did, that one was perfect. Let's take that, move on, blah, blah, blah. You know, and as you go through and do more, you know, experience more records, more artists, more work styles and everything, you'll start figuring out when to, you know, and assert your opinions, professional and creative opinions properly. It's chess, for sure.
Do you have a favorite project?
A favorite project that I worked on? Alone at Prom Deluxe with Tory Lanez. I don't like. That's. I really don't know much else to say. That's how the album came. There's dialogue for days on how that album came together. That's. We first did it through pandemic. I remember we went to the studio, Kush Factory, and he showed me this 80s record he did, Enchanted. Well, he first showed me Enchanted Waterfall, and then immediately after that just clicked, just went right to work, made a template, an 80s template to work with it, and I just, like, my whole goal for that album was, I don't want you to, you can't figure out how we made this album. And I still can't figure out how I made the album. Like, it's just taking someone who's an artist who's known as a rapper, singer, and just flip the switch, add a whole new alias and do a whole new style of music, and it just sounds like the times. It's great, and I still listen back to that album, just like, how did we do that?
So you can listen, I mean, you're hearing some of the tracks over and over and over and over again, but you'll still, are you able to enjoy it after it's created? Do you sit back and you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome? Or are you like, I'm sick of this?
I would say that's probably one of few albums that I actually like. I'll be honest, a lot of time I don't like listening back to my work because I'm trying to fix the work because perfectionist. But that album, I can enjoy that album, Playboy. Those two albums, like, just sit back and just like, yo, what were we on when we made this? It was some good times. A lot of Dragon Ball Z. Definitely made Alone at Prom to the Boo saga of Dragon Ball Z. Yes. Yep.
Where do you get your creative inspiration?
Anime. Straight up. Anime. There's no Dragon Ball Z for sure. Yep. Vegeta, that's my guy. That is, yes. Anime. For sure. I'm a misplaced Japanese person, I swear to God.
What is it about it?
It's the colors, it's the shapes, it's the combination of sequences, it's the music, it's the it's imagination just being carried out right in front of you. And also I kind of got tired of seeing humans being written into these weird obscure like situations, and it be put on television. We're like, hey, it's a news episode of this. Like, it's just an everyday like thing. Like, no, that person just got killed in last episode. That's like that's not a good thing. At least like it's animation, it's cartoons. Like, so and I don't know. It brings me joy. All the storylines are great. Like, I don't know. Just go watch some anime, bro. It's so good.
I have to. What has it been like working with Element and kind of just artists from all over? Do you sense any difference working with people from different countries?
Element's very, very interesting. It's like something that I personally have been wanting to slowly building inside of my head to create, and then it just gets like out of nowhere, it just gets presented right in front of you. You're like, yeah, so what are we doing? Type of thing. Like, it's great. Like, they're reaching out to people all over the world, getting different perspectives on music and frequency and tempo, and then, you know, doing our best to, or Element doing the best to take what's received and help them, you know, just monetize off of it. It's beautiful, and it's the first time I've honestly heard of a music entity doing something that wasn't directly greedy. Like, I don't sense any type of greed behind anything that goes on with an Element. It's pretty wild. And it like just constantly wanting to expand the platform and how we're able to, like, now reach out to different perspectives of music and bring them to the limelight of I guess, you know, charting productions, charting, you know, compositions and stuff like that. It's like, wow. Normally, like, there's entities out there that do this type of thing, but they're charging this, they're charging that, they're taking this, they're taking that. It's more of like how can we help you? What's up? What do you have? Oh, you have this? Okay, cool. We'll listen to it. So this is what we came up with. You cool with that? All right, dope. Like, what? I'm sorry. It's as the Bible says, you know, you're asking, you shall receive, and wow. Thank you, Lord.
A few more. Just what softwares do you currently use that you love? And then overall, how do you feel about the change in technology shifting, or how do you see the trends shifting, and how will that impact you and your career?
Definitely need to reignite the brain cells on this one. This goes deep. All right. Pro Tools. Sorry, Pro Tools is one of the best, at least, programs I've used, maybe because I'm just so used to it. I've been using Pro Tools since Pro Tools 8. I don't know when that was. Um, I mean, records end up in Pro Tools all the time. Pro Tools is my favorite. I produce and engineer in Pro Tools. I would say next outside of Pro Tools would be Ableton. Ableton's a really, really expansive, really elaborate, creative DAW. But don't get me wrong, Freeloops sounds amazing. You producers you people who are thinking about getting into music and want to like really get right into it. Like I was just starting on Freeloops. Drums sound great, but these are all tools. Like someone could honestly make a hit record on GarageBand. I believe it. I believe if you really got in and learned your tool, because they're all tools. You got in and learned your tool, you can make a hit record on GarageBand, Logic, anything. Like it's like once the record comes out, no one knows how it was made. Everyone's just there to enjoy it. And like now with like technology, man, there's a lot of cool things that you can do. I remember like before like MIDI is an amazing thing. Like you can take signal, of notes and send it across the room to a whole nother like synth, and then like it's playing it like it's great. The way that now that we're able to do 32-bit resolution depth inside into DAWs. Now we have like more headroom to work with waveforms. It's beautiful. Like people say now we don't need big studios. I think it's now it's more of like which tools do you need? Like they're all tools. Essentially, like I said, at the end of the day, no one knows that you use that console or just that interface. Everyone's here to enjoy the music. But don't get me wrong, the right tool does amazing things for what you're looking for. So like it's like the way that people are these manufacturers are producing these great new tools for us to use and be creative. It's amazing. I don't think we should like choose a side of like digital or analog. It's all within how you're feeling for the sound. Yeah.
2 more questions. Are you an AI optimist or a pessimist?
I am I'm like a technology I'm an AI optimist to an extent. Like of course don't take the creativity from the human creators, but at the same time like what an amazing tool.
What any advice or mentorship or somebody that you've looked up to has said to you to inspire your career, and what would you say to young engineers, producers, just anyone in the creative space that's starting out?
It's gonna sound really political, but learn the business. Knowledge about the business is the best thing you can do, because learning splits, learning publishing, all that stuff, learning the business, because we can create all day, but as creatives, there are those other people who are in the industry that aren't creatives, who are there just for the money or just for whatever they're there for, and that's where they can get the upper hand, is by knowing the business a little bit more than you can. Just know the business to protect yourself, so that you can still create with less stress. Yeah.